which informs the artist and the work of art. So meaning as antecedent. That's number one. Number two, you have the idea that meaning is actually the consequence, right? Rather than it being the antecedent, meaning becomes the consequence. Meaning is the consequence of what? Meaning is the consequence of the artist and the work. It is through the production of the piece, of the work, that we understand what it means to be an artist, what art is, right, as such. That's number two. Or, finally, you have sort of the bidirectional, which is, no, what it really is that meaning both informs, meaning it is an antecedent, and is informed by, meaning that it is the consequence of the artist and the artwork. That's the third. Very dense. Very dense, very dense, very dense. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So that when we talk about art, and we say art, it's important to understand what we mean when we say art. Because if we say art, and that word, that sound, refers to the concept of the essence, the meaning of art as an antecedent, that's clearly a different conception than evoking the word art. And then that refers to the concept of art, the concept of the essence, as consequence, which is also different than evoking the word art. And it refers to, the evocation of the word art refers to the bidirectional relationship of meaning as both informing and informed by the art and the artist, right? So it's important we understand what we mean, this becomes meta, what we mean when we talk about the meaning of art, right? It's an analysis of the meaning of our utterance, if you will. What does it mean when we say that we are talking about the conceptual referent, right? What does it mean when we talk about the concept art? Very, very dense. Very, 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 very dense. I didn't mean to end on such a profoundly complex question. I think it's a great place to end, though, because you can think about this yourself, right? And leave me some comments, tell me what you think about this. I don't have attachments to anything. I just like thinking about complex stuff. So whichever way you lay on these, and actually I should just draw it so we have a good visual, because I do want to make sure that it's clear before I end, just to make sure that it is clear. If we have sort of, this is what's at stake, and we say that the utterance, art, right? So all of this in sort of semiotic sense would be the sign, right? We have the relationship between the utterance, the trigger, the word, and then the concept. And the question is, this is simple, but what is it that we are referring to? Right? What's the destination, conceptually speaking? What is it that we're referring to? Because this is different from this, and this is different from both. So, is it this, is it this, is it this? I'm not here to tell you what the correct answer is. I think it's really, really cool to hear what people pick. You don't have to necessarily say this, but just to think, just the fact that I'm putting it out into cyberspace, I think is in itself, interesting. But whichever way you perceive or believe that the word refers to the concept, that's going to inform the way in which you produce your art, if you're an artist, right? So depending on what you particularly believe is the essence of art, if it's 1, 2, or 3, or if you believe that it is flexible and it changes, so that it's all of them at different points in time, that's going to inform the way in which you produce your art. Your artwork's going to be different. The way in which you approach your craft will be, craft is art. The way in which you approach your craft is going to be different based on what you think the concept of art really means. And I'm not here to tell you what it is. We'll see what Heidegger says later in the analysis. So again, I was going to end earlier, but I recognized I wanted to have this visual so that you can make your own assessments and you can visually see sort of the complex relationship between the art, the artwork, and the essence or meaning of art. So with that, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my first installment of my aesthetics lecture series. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Thanks, and have a good day.